you may have addressed some of this already, but I think there's a great question in the chat from TJ. He asked, what lessons did the foundation learn during the pandemic in terms of data, metrics, growth, and growth mindsets?
In the past year, 2 years with COVID, there have been just tremendous amounts of stressors on all of us, but especially our families that are living on the edge. And as soon as we saw, our work is really specific about eviction prevention and keeping families stable and keeping children in school. Well, when the eviction moratorium expired, when schools were still closed, we were not sure how this was going to be impacting the families, let alone the outcomes, let alone the impacts. So with Sure Impact, we were able to see, yes, where we did have dips, and it wasn't just with a particular city, but it was a national dip in housing security. We had a national dip in our ability to increase that family's income because so many businesses were closed for such a long period of time. So it does give us the ability to know information rather than anecdotally or, through a hunch. We actually can go in, we can look at things, we can talk with our partners about it in real time. We can strategize about policy, we can strategize about what we may need to do in order to help booster the relations with the family.
Yeah, I love how your story is. Your story is about looking at those insights to improve service delivery, to ultimately meet the needs of those that you serve, to improve their outcomes, which is how we'll achieve real and lasting social change, right? Is to use the insights to create better programs or change policy. And that's what I absolutely love about the work that you're doing, that you're not viewing data just as, it is an accountability tool, but it's really a decision-making tool, right? It's improving the services that you're providing.
During the pandemic, and as I had mentioned previously, our numbers dropped significantly as far as where we would have preferred some of our outcomes to be and the impacts to the families. And, we were learning in that moment what was happening at the global level, the national level, all the different policies, the federal dollars that were pouring in but not pouring out to the community. And so we did have to learn a lot about metrics, a lot about partnerships, a lot about trust. And, really these last 2 years, there's no trend, right? There's no data trend to explain. And I think that's why it's really important to have a transparent relationship with the funding partners, with the service providers, with the community levels, because the data tells one part of the story, but it's the people that tell the other part of the story. And so together it is using those, qualitative and quantitative real assets to help inform our strategy. And, for us, what we did was we sort of doubled down as a foundation. We added a bunch more cities. We expanded our funding in some of the cities that were harder hit. And so we tried very hard to bring more money into communities. And we also helped lead national conversations about, federal dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and as you were talking, one thing that I thought about is that traditionally, if in the absence of the insights that Sure Impact helps providers collect and elevate up in your case, a national level, you have to rely on census data, right? Which is great, but it's very lagging. And especially when there's rapid changing conditions, it's very lagging. And so I think a benefit that your network has is the ability to tell a real-time impact story. What's really happening on the ground with families? What is really happening from quarter to quarter in terms of individuals helping them meet their needs? And so I really appreciate how you said there is no trend line right now, but you're able to kind of get that more real-time insights that very few people have.